Welcome to this episode of Horrific History and Hauntings. I'm Beth.
And I'm Ramie. We're your hosts, here to talk about the stories that the history books ignore.
From horrific epidemics and ghostly hauntings to the catastrophes and tragic events that have sickened humanity.
Yes, Beth, what are we talking about?
It's a Tales of Terror in the Eerie Appalachias.
Oh, good.
We're going to be talking about the West Virginia State Penitentiary.
Okay, I might have heard a little bit about this. Not a lot.
And today in history, the day that we're recording is October 26th. In 1984, 19-year-old John McCollum was found shot to death in his bedroom in California.
I don't think I've heard of this.
Me neither. While authorities quickly determined it was a self-inflicted wound, his parents believed that there was more to the story. They blamed rock star Ozzy Osbourne.
Are you serious?
They said that his song Suicide Solution from the album Blizzard of Oz had influenced their son's suicide.
Is there any proof?
No, none.
Oh.
In their lawsuit, they claimed that hidden lyrics in the song encouraged John to get the gun and try it, shoot, shoot, shoot.
Wow.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh.
Anytime you have to read lyrics out loud slowly.
Ozzy Osbourne argued that the song was actually an anti-suicide piece about a friend who drank himself to death and contained no hidden messages. In 1988, a California court dismissed the case, concluding that John's death was not a consequence of Ozzy's music. I like a few of Ozzy's songs. They're some of my favorites, the few that I do like. I don't think I've ever heard this one. Obviously, I'm going to have to listen to it now.
We're biased. We are Osbournes.
Yeah. Well.
Or spelled differently.
I listen to quite a bit of music about death and things like that, and it's never made me think, you know what I should do today?
Same here. I collect ghost Pokemon, and never once have it made me think about that.
Yeah.
But it's all the same. I can see why they might assume
they
as
needed
parents.
somebody to. They were grieving. They needed somebody to blame.
And how do you fight that without seeming inconsiderate? That's difficult. I guess that's why you hire lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid to be
Jerks.
blunt to the point.
Oh, yeah, blunt.
Jerks. Okay. Let's hope we never need one.
Helpful. They're helpful. But when you don't want to seem like the rude person, yes, you need to hire a lawyer.
Or ChatGPT. they can come across pretty blunt when you want them to. Okay. I had no idea that any of this had happened. It was all the rage to blame music and TV and then video games.
Yeah.
In that order. That's
media.
Yeah, media is what causes it. And sometimes, who knows, it might sometimes, but I don't really believe that video games.
I don't believe that any of this really caused it. When I was a child, though, and we had Grand Theft Auto, I think San Andreas was the one that first came out. Well, yeah. Not first came out, but when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the back of the vehicle, and I was just randomly thinking, I bet I could steal that car. And then I caught myself. I was like, oh, I'm not in the game.
You know, I did the exact same thing.
I can't just punch somebody in the face and steal their car.
I was too young to even drive. And I was sitting in the back of the vehicle with Mom, and we was at the red light up near the Walgreens. And I seen a motorcycle and thought, oh, you know what?
I should open my door real quick.
That would be a great ride, wouldn't it? But see,
don't even know how to drive a motorcycle.
People have the inner monologue. So a book could do the same thing to someone if they're that into it. And
but the thing is, the difference is
influence.
We afterward caught ourselves. Not afterward. We didn't do anything. I didn't.
I didn't either.
But I've caught myself before anything. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. This is real life.
A lot of
this
times,
is reality.
To be perfectly honest, a lot of times you don't come across situations where it would relate to a video game. Like Halo, you don't expect the flood to come running through the Walmart at you.
I'm going to be running for sure if that happens. I'm not going to actually try to stand there and fight them like I do in Halo.
Mortal Kombat, you're not going to pull someone's spine out in real life that
You're
often.
going to see me doing the Johnny Depp run if that happens.
Yeah, the Twinkle Toes style run. We found out a few new things. Now, what about the state penitentiary?
This one's probably going to be a short one. There wasn't too much to add into here, but it was one of those that was in Mom's little folder of inspiration.
Cool.
But there wasn't much in that packet she printed off. It was only 2 pages, and it didn't even have a lot of the history facts about it. So I had to go online and research.
Yeah, what a pity.
I know, right? But it still didn't turn out to be that long. But that's okay, because we've already recorded 2 episodes for other podcasts today, so that's okay.
Yeah, if you're part of the Horrific History and Hauntings group who got a notification for a crossover episode about Pokemon ghosts, then you should at least give it a shot, even if you don't like Pokemon. Some of those ghosts that kids catch in this game could be menacing.
Yeah. The West Virginia State Penitentiary was constructed in 1866, shortly after West Virginia joined the Union, and it's rumored to be haunted by the spirits of its former prisoners.
That seems common among prisons.
I feel like a lot of prisons would be good places to be haunted for what goes on. It's on the outskirts of Moundsville, and throughout its 129 years of operation, the prison housed thousands of prisoners, many of which died while incarcerated there. Whom, I guess I should say whom, not which. Either by executions or prison violence is how they died.
That seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm. The prison was closed in 1995. Local legends claim that the original prison buildings were constructed on the site of an early Native American burial ground.
That seems common in West Virginia.
One of the mounds.
Yeah.
You know the mounds?
We had the theme park.
Yeah, Shawnee.
Shawnee, named after the actual tribe.
Across from the prison grounds is the last burial mound left in Moundsville, which is estimated to be about 2,000 years old. How about we keep it there?
Yeah, that's like Jesus old.
The prison covered over 20 acres, and it was originally constructed using convict labor to house the state's most dangerous criminals.
If you got them, why not, I guess. That's what they thought.
Besides the warden's office and residence, the complex included buildings for inmate housing, an administration office, visitor reception areas, a dining hall, a chapel, mail and laundry rooms, a boiler house, a central receiving building, an execution chamber, the hole or solitary confinement and punishment area for those problem prisoners, the North Hall, which housed the most dangerous inmates in the solitary cells for 22 hours a day. Some sources said 23 hours a day.
That's awful.
And Rat Row, which consisted of 32 cells, which were reserved for the snitches, the informants and witnesses under house arrest.
Things that other inmates couldn't get to.
Yeah.
Smart.
The North Wagon Gate on the prison's north side was a small building once used to hold male and female prisoners temporarily. Its second-floor wooden trapdoors were used for hangings before the electric chair came along.
I'm still not sure which one of those were more humane.
I'm terrified of electricity. Just hang me. Today, one of the prison chambers still holds the electric chair, which is named Old Sparky.
I think I've heard that nickname a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a common one.
You ever heard the term, don't leave me hanging?
Yeah.
You know what that's about?
What?
I've always heard, I might be wrong, it was considered violent to be hung and not have your neck snap, so they would come and grab your leg and pull down.
That makes sense.
To make it quicker, yeah. I don't know if that's true. I need to look into that again, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that. I'm almost certain it wouldn't be an uncommon thing.
I think it would be better to try to cut you down and try again, but, you know, I guess the pulling your leg down.
Or maybe that's where don't pull my leg come from. Maybe that's where both of them came from.
Oh.
Might have just spouted some nonsense, but maybe it'll start a rumor. Who knows?
Oh, well. At first, all executions took place in the death house, which was a separate structure within the North Recreation Yard. However, this building was removed in 1965 when West Virginia abolished public executions.
Very progressive.
Upon entering the West Virginia State Penitentiary, visitors see a large wheel that was once used to transport prisoners to their cells. In this first room, where prisoners were searched upon arrival, a guard controlled the double circular cage, which was installed in 1894 through a small hallway opening. This cage had a single entrance at its center and would spin, moving prisoners from the front hallway to the cell block corridor, which was supposed to help prevent escape attempts towards the main doors.
A revolving door, a revolving room.
The stories today claim that after the prison closed down, the wheel will still occasionally operate by itself. It said revolving door, so I think that the floor maybe revolves with it, and that way the prisoner is like in there and you just spin it around and it goes from the search where they search you entrance area and to the cells.
Okay.
Is what it sounds like to me. The prison's maximum security area was situated north of the main entrance. It housed 2 levels of cells. The upper cells were reserved for inmates with limited outdoor privileges. They were rarely permitted to leave their cells and were often even forced to eat their meals in confinement, which these extreme solitary conditions often resulted in suicide. I think I would have been perfectly fine being left alone. I might have been a little stir crazy by not getting to go outside.
Did I see a library mentioned anywhere here? Because a lot of them have libraries now. Maybe you get a Bible if you don't mind.
It didn't say library, but...
Years with nothing to read or do, that would be a problem.
Yeah. The conditions within the West Virginia State Penitentiary were reportedly far from adequate or humane. Cells and rooms were said to be overcrowded and infested with vermin and cockroaches. Due to the conditions and the amount of violence, the prison eventually earned a place on the United States Department of Justice's list of top 10 violent prisons.
What a coveted position.
Yeah. During the 129 years of operation, the West Virginia State Penitentiary witnessed a total of 36 reported murders.
Reported.
Yes, reported. And 94 executions. However, this does not include the numerous suicides and accidents that occurred within the prison, and those are believed to have pushed the toll to an estimated thousands.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's just a loneliness, I guess, got to people if nothing else. Or just accidents, not accidents, but murders that look like suicides. I don't know how much investigation they've done to a convict's murder or suicide.
The prison's shift from hanging to electrocution in 1951 was due to the execution of Frank Heyer. He was convicted of murdering his wife. Frank was led to the gallows with a crowd of people watching. When the trapdoor opened, the force of his falling body against the rope was so great that it actually decapitated him in front of all those witnesses.
No need to pull his leg.
This led to the public executions being stopped, and it turned the executions into an invitation-only type of event. Imagine getting the invitation in the mail for that.
Cordially invited to the execution of so-and-so.
Let me get my Sunday finest dress and head to the execution.
It was a thing that people done for a long time, though.
Yeah, I guess there wasn't much else to do. What do I want to do today? The dishes? Sweep? Or dust? Oh, nope, there's an execution. Let's go there.
Yeah. Half of them couldn't read, so there was no reading books. Entertainment was probably costly to go to the plays and whatever's that they had, if you're lucky enough to live in an area that had it. So yeah, an execution makes sense. Imagine you work at the prison. And you just bring your whole family to the execution every so often. It's like the state fair.
Oh, odd times.
Yeah.
By 1986, the poor conditions within the West Virginia State Penitentiary had reached a breaking point and caused a prison riot. Inmates were plagued by health problems caused by the faulty plumbing and vermin infestations, while overcrowding with over 2,000 men crammed into the facility caused a lot of tension. In response to this situation, a group of prisoners decided to stage a rebellion and protest the inhumane conditions. During the 1986 riot, a group of 20 inmates known as the Avengers stormed the mess hall.
Oh, no.
They took 6 officers hostage, including the captain. During the uprising, 3 inmates accused of being snitches were tortured and killed.
Now, that seems a little bit more than just living condition going on there.
Yeah. Another inmate, Danny Lehman, was chosen to negotiate with authorities. Despite his efforts, which did cause some improvements, he was later murdered in prison.
Wow. Do not be a representative for the criminal.
However, in the end, the prison's conditions and cell sizes remained inadequate, which led to the prison closing by 1995.
Back when it's impossible to hide these things from the media.
Now we get to dive into the more spooky haunting part of the episode. Many of the unclaimed prisoners who died within the penitentiary walls are said to have been laid to rest in the prison's cemetery. Reports of dark, shadowy figures are frequently seen in various areas of the prison. Electronic voice phenomenon recordings have also captured the sounds of a shotgun blast, followed by the clanging sound of the empty cartridge hitting the floor. The basement's sugar shack was the recreation room. It was usually used for illegal gambling, drug deals, fights, rapes, murders.
It's a misleading name.
Yeah. Today, visitors to this area report hearing disembodied arguments, hushed conversations, ghostly whispers, while others have experienced unexplained noises and chilly cold spots. Beyond the sugar shack, the entire basement is believed to be haunted by the ghost of a former maintenance worker. He was known for spying on the prisoners and reporting their business to the guards, which led to him being fatally stabbed while in the bathroom. His restless spirit is said to continue roaming around the basement. The North Hall was where the most violent inmates were housed, mostly for the violent behaviors while in prison, not necessarily what they did outside of prison or their crimes outside. 2 murders occurred there. The first victim was Danny Lehman. He was stabbed in the eye and died. The one that was the negotiator that I mentioned before.
That sounds a little better than getting hacked to pieces, though.
Yeah. The other was William Red Snyder. He was convicted for the murder and dismemberment of his parents.
Oh, no.
He was Also widely disliked and involved in fights often. He was killed when he got stabbed 37 times when he was attacked in front of his cell by another inmate. An inmate known as R.D. Wall was marked as a snitch by his fellow inmates. On October 8, 1929, as he was heading down to where the boilers were kept, 3 inmates ambushed Walls. They hacked and stabbed him with dull shivs so severely that he was butchered into pieces by the time they were done. Wall's death is believed to be linked to one of the prison's earliest reported ghost sightings in the prison. Visitors have reported a variety of strange occurrences in the hall, including equipment malfunctioning, unexplained photo issues, sounds of cell doors slamming shut, despite them being empty, of course. And many people have described feeling uneasy in this area. Red's cell in particular is said to be especially haunted. His ghost is rumored to lurk in the shadows while watching those who approach the cell he once lived in, died in.
Eerie enough to have convict ghosts. It's like the worst of the worst. It's like 13 ghosts.
Yeah. Today, the West Virginia Penitentiary has been transformed from a prison into a museum with entertainment for visitors such as guided day tours, escape games themed around the prison life and trying to escape the prison.
That's interesting, but I would never manage it.
A haunted house experience called the Dungeon Haunted House, a guided walk through the northern section of the facility, which is supposed to have the most paranormal activity, a penitentiary horror and paranormal convention, public ghost hunts where you tour the facility with a guide at night and then you get to roam around the halls on your own.
Sounds safe.
Yeah. And the strangest thing that they offer, which is also kind of cute, is a princess tea party.
Oh.
It provides a magical experience for the visitors that are ages 12 and under, where they get to have a tea party with their favorite princesses.
In a prison.
In a haunted prison.
I guess while parents do their own thing, maybe?
I guess. I don't know.
Wow. I think I would rather have went on the tour.
Yeah.
But some kids might not.
Can I have tea with the princess? Well, no, I'm not 12 and under.
It's genius, though. Something to keep your kids from having nightmares while you have fun.
Yeah. That's. Okay. I told you it was going to be short, but I wanted to go ahead and get it out of the folder because I only have one more packet in Mom's folder, but it's about Abingdon, and I wanted to try to do that ghostly tour thing, but I haven't seen anything about it. Like I even looked it up and couldn't find it.
Oh, it's about too late for it now.
Well, I'll probably just end up doing it anyway, but there's so many things around here and the packet's huge. That one's probably going to take me longer.
Yeah. Well, that was entertaining. I don't remember much about this place.
It was okay. I was disappointed when I did the research for this one. I felt like there should have been more. One of the most entertaining things I found about it was the Princess Tea Party.
Yeah, it is a little unusual. I wonder how many of the chill inmates like to sit and watch that from their ghostly perches. Well, I appreciate it all the same. If you like what you heard here, we have other podcasts we do. We're part of the Gruesome Gaming Group Podcast Network. We have Leveling Duo. It's a podcast where we talk about video games. Me and Beth here, me and my friend Dakota. Don't come out very often, but when it does, it's because we played a new game we really enjoy. I think the newest episode is going to be out this week. Well, same time this episode is. It's about ghost Pokemon because it's the spooky season. Also, we have Brother Knows Quest, a podcast where I tell Beth about tabletop role-playing games. Try to go through a different one each week. If you want to find all those, you can just Google them or look them up in your podcast app of choice, or there's a Linktree link in the description. It will take you to our socials. The Gruesome Gaming Group's homepage is the top link. You can find all our podcasts there and listen to samples and everything. And then the socials, you can just follow them, friend them, X and Threads, anything you want to reach out to us on, be fine. TikTok, if you just want to message us and say hi or give us an idea, something to cover. Below the link tree is a couple of emails. You can email either one of those. That'd be a perfectly reasonable way to reach out. And if you want us to read out your email on one of the podcasts, that's fine. Just let us know if it's okay to do so and tell people your name. Below that is a option to send a tip. If you want to do that, we'd appreciate it. It helps keep the podcast hosted. It uses Stripe, so it is secure. Leave reviews if you can. We go through those and read them out occasionally. Also, another thing, if you leave your name, please let us know if it's okay to leave your name in the readout. Thank you for listening. I've been Ramie.
And I'm Beth.
And this has been HH&H. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween.